Recently, on aboard the Opal Star, Tally found a buyer for the engine the crew recovered from the vault. Maria updated them all on the increased interest in the bounty. Faridah and Vae did some research, finding the name of Faridah's agent. After some travel, they arrived at Paragon Labs, where they met Lex, the ship's engineer who was working for Paragon at the time and has since returned to the Opal Star. They disembarked to deliver the engine, only to have an alarm start going off before they could leave. Let's see what trouble they find themselves in this time.
And as she says that, an alarm starts going off.
Faridah looks at the camera.
Vi, I think, immediately sort of goes into a more combative stance. She's not pulling any weapons out, but she's definitely in a more prepared stance. More obviously prepared.
Sounds like it would be good to get to that ship now, rather than later. Shall we?
A voice starts coming over the intercom, and it is stating that there has been a possible breach in the biological containment unit. The station is going into lockdown until it can be contained. There is some swearing in Nassif as Doral flies over to a nearby terminal and starts typing into it. She's like, I knew we shouldn't have taken that. Damn it. I'm going to minor retcon. It's not the containment that's going on, there's been a security breach.
Okay.
And so as Doral is over and typing, she's like, oh, damn these Shadow Tetrarch idiots. We've got somebody trying to break into the system. They know they can't, but they're just going to keep pestering it until they get bored and leave us alone. But they chose a really bad time to do this, because... And as she says this, that's when another alarm starts going off about the containment shield failing in the biolab.
Great.
So you've got hackers messing with the security system, and whatever is in those containers is trying to take advantage of that to get out of the containers. And the entire station is going into lockdown.
Right. I run over to the door and stop it and override it before it tries to lock down. In one way or another.
Roll plus computers?
Sure. Here, let's use a good dice for this one.
Say, I can help her.
Computers. That's a good one. 23.
Okay, never mind.
I appreciate the help, Vi. You walk over and... I don't know exactly how it looks, but she does run over and, hit the, It's like locking down in 3, 2, slap, stop.
Nope.
Stop.
No.
There is a numerical pad, and you were just like, I think I remember what she punched in, and it cancels out the blocking of that door.
Just hit manual override. Stop.
Well, we should be alright, and I can get us in and out of anywhere that doesn't have the contamination in it.
That's good.
But this could be bad, because these attacks can drain the system and cause things to overheat, and that stupid stuff we picked up in the biolab that I've been trying to get us to get rid of for months now is trying to take advantage of this as a chance to get out. Are any of you good with computers?
A few of us are good with computers in a variety of ways. First of all, let us all get on the same page. I would like to know, and Faridah is going to go into a kind of leading discussion with her, asking very leading questions of, at what temperatures is this thing comfortable? What is the particular issue of it being in containment? What do we need to stop it from containing? Basically, leading the questions to get this lady to answer to everything that she observed herself.
Okay. Roll persuasion.
Sure. Also, she snapped. The moment that the alarms popped off, she just turned off her face. So.
Roll to see if she recognized you. She apparently doesn't know anything about music. At all. Lives under a rock. She rolled a 1. I don't know what's in this dice today.
How good. Perfect. 14.
She doesn't give a whole lot of details also because she's more of the floor manager, so she hasn't worked as directly with it.
Yeah. So there are several answers where she's just like, I don't know, and that's fine.
Yeah, she does share it's less active in colder temperatures.
Good to know.
It has showed unusual intelligence, and they're not entirely sure if someone created this or someone just found it and did stuff to it. So it seems unusually intelligent. There are several of them. They don't all act the same. Some like to hang on the ceiling and drop on you. Some like to just absorb things. And there's one that likes to get into machinery and pilot it.
Fantastic.
Which lost them a few automatons until they finally found a containment unit to keep them. But with the attacks going on, plus the fact that these things are now starting to attack, and it's just kind of leading to a cascade of things that could potentially lead to that getting out. And another thing with the security lockdown is going to make sure it doesn't get off of the ship. The attacks are messing with some of the protocols that would allow it to be, like, vented or something.
Mm-hmm.
So something needs to be done about that, either manual override or something. And if the lockdown lasts too long, some external security forces will be called in, and Spectra is not excited about that, because external security would possibly reveal where y'all are.
Yeah, they're third party, yeah. Okay.
Yeah. It's not that she doesn't trust them, it's just information could really easily get out that way.
Okay, so since we're next to the door, Faridah's gonna look down the hallway either way and see what's up.
Okay, roll perception.
21. All of my perception rolls today have been 19s, on different dice.
Faridah's just on the ball today.
She really is. She really likes the whole environment here. Well, now she doesn't, but she did before.
So, there weren't a lot of people to begin with. You see, like, most of the ones who were in rooms, they're stayed in the room. Some of the doors are still locked down, but you can see some people in the rooms. They appear to be communicating with people. It's basically like, okay, there's nothing in here. We're going to stay in here until the situation is under control, keeping in communication, making sure there's no problems on there. And there's a couple of people on computer terminals who appear to be trying to either override or, like, get through to something. Most of the things seem to be contained, but a lot of the concern does seem to be centered around the biolab.
Is there a fire escape plan? A piece of paper stuck up on the wall next to the door to get a layout of the building.
So right now only one wing is open. It's the wing you're in.
Because Faridah's going to try to find a different exit route than passing by the biolab. Her first instinct is always go the other direction from the danger.
The exit's going to be all the way on the left, but you, Doral, is going to explain you're not going to be able to leave until this has been contained.
And why is that?
Because we can't risk any biological contaminants getting onto a ship.
Sounds like you're reading the corporate line. Are you sure that your life isn't in peril here too?
It's literally how the security protocols are programmed.
I'm asking about you, not the security protocols. This is me appealing to her inner non-machine.
It seems the best thing to do is get off the station, but we need to get this contained because some of us can control technology, and also I am unable to override any of the protocols in place. You can go to your ship, but you're not going to be able to leave until it's been contained. The dock has been closed off.
I want to roll an insight check on it.
Go for it.
Is she surprised? Because the whole reading of the whole corporate move without necessarily a concern for her own well-being is alarming. So, I want to figure out if that's actually what's going on here.
Okay.
14.
There is a tinge of panic to her, but she is trying to stay calm so everyone else doesn't start panicking, because she's kind of the person in charge until the next shift gets there. And there's also, she knows that the containment is still there. They still have things to keep it contained, but with everything going on, there are things that have to be done to stop the lockdown.
Right. I'm asking her, do you have any plans to work with this?
First off, We need to stop the attacks. We need to stabilize. There seem to be energy fluctuations between different systems, which is causing. It looks like the heat's rising in that room. Damn it. So the heat's rising in the bioroom, which is causing the substance to become more active, and it's starting to attack the security systems. And basically, she keeps going, and it's like a lot of things are spiraling. But the main thing is finding some way to stop whatever attack is going on, readjusting and regaining control of the temperature system, and possibly having someone on standby in case something does escape. She does mention that there are some devices that they've kind of tested. They haven't had a lot of things getting out, but they're pretty sure will at least allow you to suck up and contain the substance long enough to put it back into a holding cell, which is what it's in. That is, if it gets out. First, we need some people who are good at hacking and good with computer stuff. And maybe someone to hold the door.
Probably not me. Hey, Anima. You and I, let's go secure the door and make sure that nothing's getting out into the hallway. I'll leave the hackers to do the hacking. Spectra, which one do you prefer?
Are you asking Spectra?
Yes, which position does she prefer? Being on the front lines of going over to make sure the door doesn't get breached? Or hang back and hack? Faridah is assuming that Vae is going to hack, which I know is incorrect. However, comment, that's what she knows.
Spectra's going to pipe up. There might be a terminal in a lab nearby the biolab. I could stay in there and see what I can do about deterring and getting these hackers away and getting them to stop compromising the system. And perhaps, Vae, you can find some way to help balance things out. Maybe basically find ways to trick the system into thinking there has not been a containment breach, because there hasn't been yet. Trick things into balancing itself out. Which I know Vae's not a hacker, but I also imagine you've had to do some things where it's like tricking systems.
Redirect power.
Yeah, just like redirect power, balance things out.
In my favor, yeah.
Yeah. Get the AC working double time in the biolab.
Alright.
Yeah, actually, a follow-up question is, some fire suppression systems, depending on what type you're trying to do, are focused on cooling off the materials that are on fire. Would that be the case in this particular instance? Instead of spraying water everywhere, it's a cooling material that purposefully cools stuff.
Yeah, especially in a biolab, because you don't know how different biological substances are going to react to water. That could cause more problems. So, yes, it would make sense. And if you asked that, yeah, they have that, they could also just, since no one is in the room, just vent the oxygen.
Well, we're gonna go make sure, that's kind of where we're gonna go aim and go look, but okay,
right now the
go.
system is in minor chaos.
Shall we?
Doral, you mentioned that these hacks keep on coming, so it's happened multiple times?
Yes, annoyingly. It's just underground hackers who are trying to prove something. They've never accomplished much, but some people just like to create chaos.
Have they ever done any attempts that you can remember before you got the biologic substance, which is now getting out?
Oh yes, there have been several in my time here. I've worked here for the past 15 years in some capacity. There's been at least 3 other attacks that I'm aware of. Oftentimes they don't get particularly far. Most of the time they just cause chaos. They mess with the lights and things like that. It's mostly harmless, but just really annoying and not the best timing.
Well, I was just trying to figure out if it was a sort of sabotage move, because they decided to do it at a time they somehow found out about this substance that is unusually intelligent and is now trying to escape, or it just, these events seem a bit too much to be coincidental. So I was just wondering if the hackers had tried at some point before, and the substance had, over time, learned to understand what those signs mean and to try an escape attempt, or whether the hackers were trying to cause the attempt.
I highly doubt that. We've kept this mostly under wraps, and we're planning on finding some way of disposing of the substance. I guess we're doing that today, most likely. But the timing of attack usually lines up with low cycles, so there's less people to deal with it, but so far it's been harmless. Oftentimes, official company policy differs. I think they're protesting some of the work that we do, because there's always going to be someone who disagrees with our work, especially with our work with Automaton. So people who either disagree or think we should be focusing on something else, they just decide to create havoc and be a pain in the ass. She's typing into a computer terminal as she says this. I guess you are also attempting to do something.
After that, then I'll go to try to redirect at the energy. Or power.
One of the other people that is there is able to lead you to the best place to help balance out and redirect different energy and different signals, while Spectra is on the computer typing away, very focused on getting these hackers to go screw themselves, because she's like, this is annoying, I didn't need this today. She's glaring daggers at the computer. So yeah, there's a couple of systems that seem out of balance right now. One is related to heating, cooling. It looks like they're trying to do something to the engines, but it's not working. Because engines are some of the most protected parts of a ship. Good luck hacking anything there. They're fluctuating electricity everywhere, so I guess roll investigation to see if you can figure out what they're doing.
Okay.
I do love the in-universe explanation for why the engines are very difficult to hack.
Because they're really important.
Investigation, that's a 13.
And they may have been created by somebody who is acutely aware of how vulnerable they could be.
Yeah, or a couple of people. From what you can tell, they're just sort of like fluctuating it all over the place. It doesn't seem like they're focusing on anything in particular, but some of it is causing the temperature to rise in the biolab.
Are there two cooling systems? One for the ship as a whole, or the base as a whole, and the other just for the biolab? Or are they all one system?
It has the possibility for separate systems for different rooms, because sometimes different projects or materials need to be kept in like different temperature environments. Things powering the computers aren't being affected, but also it's kind of like someone's flipping the light switch on and off, and then just like sitting there with the thermostat and turning it back and forth.
Okay, but it's in different rooms.
Yeah, the main problem is with the biolab in particular.
But it doesn't look like they are intentionally affecting things in that area specifically. That's just a sort of side effect of what's going on.
Yes, if you want to roll it insight, you're welcome to.
Sure. Because I would be very, ooh, that's a 9. Ooh.
You're suspicious. I think you're probably more focused on fix this, ask questions later.
Okay. Well,
You hear Z's voice in your head. Problem at hand, kid. Problem at hand.
Grumbling. Okay, I will do that. But also real quick, since Spectra's right there. Hey, Spectra, once you get a lock on these hackers, would you mind causing some chaos for them? That would help.
Oh, that is 100% my intention.
Good. Good.
This very much reads of the Tetrarch, and they're just a giant pain in the ass. She says without looking up, and she's still tapping away furiously.
So, would I roll computers for this? Mechanics? I guess it'd be computers. It's all automated.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm just gonna say there was someone there who gave you access so you can, like, adjust things.
Preferably, yes. And maybe just have someone standing nearby so I don't, accidentally switch off power to an area. Very necessary area.
Yeah,
Okay.
don't cut off power to the light.
Computers. Oh, yay. Okay. Alright, that's a dirty 20.
Nice. It takes some time, and like you can tell, this hack definitely feels like something being done by multiple people. As you start taking control of the area, you can tell like someone's trying to stop you, but they're not doing a very good job of it.
Yeah.
So you are able to take control of the environmental controls.
Okay.
Roll me intelligence.
Okay. 15.
It takes you a minute because the layout is different than you're used to seeing information, so it takes you a couple seconds to figure out like what thing to tell to do what to get the temperature down. And you can probably also see energy readings from different parts, and the containment units look like they are struggling.
Okay.
So it takes you a second, but you are able to find the temperature controls and start adjusting them down. It's going to take about like 30 seconds or so for it to get down to the level that you're looking at.
Okay.
What are you going to do next? Because the containment units are still struggling.
Okay, the power to the containment units are what's struggling at this point.
It's almost like there's something on the inside trying to smash its way out.
Okay. But from what I can see, it's the power systems that are struggling, or is there a blueprint where I can see the security measures and things being damaged that way?
It looks like it's not being fed as much power as it used to, which fits with the other power fluctuations going on.
Okay.
It looks like it needs more power fed into it since what's inside has become a lot more active. There's probably a way on there also that kind of tells you where there are living beings in rooms. This system's designed to not necessarily let you take all the power out of a room when the person's in it.
Wise for life support, yeah.
Roll me intelligence to see how long it takes you to figure out where to draw power from.
Okay. Ooh, that's a 7.
You're not quite sure where exactly to draw power from.
Okay.
Roll perception.
Okay. Perception is a lot better. Let's try this dice. Oh, okay, perception. Alright, 25.
Okay. You're basically looking for somewhere that has auxiliary power that you can draw from to feed to the containment system that won't mess with anything else. What kind of thing would Vae be looking for to draw from?
Something that runs on aux power? Let's see.
Something where if you redirect power from it, it's not going to have a negative effect on anything, like no people in it and so forth. Or backup sources or just something like that.
Okay, are there any rooms that do not have people or... Yeah, mainly I think the first thing would be, are there rooms without people in them?
I'm gonna say there's a couple of rooms. The mess hall doesn't have anyone at it. The crew quarters doesn't have anyone in it. And the room where you left the engine is also devoid of people. I think there's someone in the other rooms.
Okay. I would say put the crew quarters off first.
Okay. Roll plus computers.
Ooh. Yeah, that'll be a 9.
You are able to redirect some power, not a lot. It's like that does help stabilize and strengthen some. And the temperature is dropping, but you still need more. You can kind of see on the side the security protocol what's triggering the lockdown. You can see that some of those are starting to just shift from red to like a yellow or a green.
Okay. Then I'll shut down the mess hall.
Okay, roll me another plus computers, and I might switch back to see what everyone else is doing after that.
Oh, yay. Alright. That is a 17.
Okay, yeah. That goes much smoother, and you are able to better stabilize that becomes green. Spectra is still working on the security breach. It's gradually changing color. It's still in the orange, though. And what is everyone else doing?
I am by the door, watching for anything coming our way.
Watching in the biolab?
Yeah.
Yeah. After some time, you do notice that some of the flashing alarms are starting to dissipate a bit, but roll me perception to see what you notice about the things in the boxes.
10.
It looks really weird. It's like this weird goo that is bouncing around like wild in some of them. There's one where it's just slamming itself on the top. The other one looks like it is flattening itself on the bottom. One's running around in circles. It's sentient slime of some sort, and it's weird.
Yuck.
Faridah, are you doing anything, or...
Yes. If the storage closet is on the way, I think the order that we saw it in was the containment lab, and then you mentioned there's a storage closet next to it, so...
Yes.
I'm assuming that in the reverse order there's a storage closet before we get to containment.
Yes.
Faridah has stopped at that storage closet, has popped it open in some capacity, and is rummaging around for some kind of way to solve this. Looking for that emergency cleanup kit.
Roll me investigation.
Dirty 20.
It takes you a couple seconds, but you remember her mentioning that there was something that was designed that could be used to, like, capture the substance? It looks like a really weird vacuum cleaner.
I'm just imagining a sci-fi shot vac, like 4 wheels, the funny googly eyes on the front.
See, I'm imagining Luigi's Mansion.
Yeah, or that.
Yeah, it's something kind of like that. When you look at it, you can tell it wouldn't hold a lot of them, especially if they, like, multiply or anything, but you're pretty sure it couldn't be meant for anything else.
Is there more than one?
Hang on, let me see how many we got. There are 3.
Okay.
Okay.
I throw them out of the closet. Pass one to Anima. Hey, this is probably something used to clean it up. I noticed it earlier. It's in that message I sent you. I'll put one on. And this is for any backup that chooses to arrive. Rummaging around in the closet, she closes the door. Is not fast.
I'm gonna say Tally's probably there.
Oh, okay. Here we go.
Cool, thanks. What is this?
Think vacuum, but for more juicy things.
She flips it around in her hand, she's like, oh, that makes more sense.
Yeah.
She was holding it upside down.
Scoop vacuum.
So, are y'all doing anything else, trying to maybe get more information or anything?
I'll probably go over to an information panel near the door for the actual lab and see what we have to do to maybe vent the room. Also, look inside to see if there's any people inside. I hope there's not, because they're probably going to get vented, but, you know, just to know if I have to feel bad about it or not.
Roll me perception. Actually, no, investigation is
Oh no, that's low. That's a 5.
There's something in the corner that looks like it might be human, curled up in the corner, but you can't tell.
Oh. I'll refer it to the other 2 near me. Hey, do y'all think that that's like a person in there? Do we need to open this door?
Roll either investigation or perception, Casey.
Okay. What's better?
My investigation is considerably higher than my perception.
Perception is higher. Let's see. 19.
It's definitely not a person. It's like a couple of duffel bags stuck in the corner.
Do you think we need to go save them? You know, like, I would feel bad.
No,
No?
those are bags, aren't they?
Oh.
Tally?
I mean, it's really hard for me to tell from here. I think I need to go to an eye doctor, get my eyes checked. Kind of funky.
Tally's like on her tippy toes trying to see above the fogged up portion of glass. She's like, yeah, it's got the logo on it. I think it's a duffel bag.
Cool, cool.
Good call being concerned.
Goes back to trying to figure out.
Roll plus computers then as you're trying to find the information.
Yes. How do I eject? 7, and you're fired. Next dice. Not that I just repainted that one.
You try and navigate your way around this panel, but there's a lot of stuff that you are kind of locked out of, and you can't quite find the security protocols for how to eject it, or how to vent the room.
Well, that seems like poor user interface design. Hey, one of you two might need to do this at some point. I'm sure it would take some time, but we need the eat button.
Anima, do you want to see if you can figure out how to use the panel?
I feel like that would be Tally's strong suit.
Oh! Sure, I'll try.
Start with just a straight intelligence.
Oh, that's not good.
This is a different kind of intelligence.
I don't have a lot of that. Doesn't matter. Oh, I got a 19! Hey! That's it, though. It's just a 19.
Well, it was more of a... You look at it, you saw Faridah fiddling around, and on the inside you're like, that's not how you... No.
It's like, here's the brightness settings for the panel. Here's the sound volume controls. I'm not finding it, guys. Language. Oh, now I can't read any of the menus. Hit that button again. Okay, it's back to normal.
You still have to navigate your way around, but you are familiar with it, so I will give you advantage on computers.
Okay, well...
Because you've used systems similar to this before.
What are my computers? Also nothing. That's good.
There's no particularly strong memory connected to it, but you know... Yeah, hang on, just...
Okay. I'm gonna roll the other one just to see what happens. So I got a 16 and a nat 20.
Nice!
Hey!
That'll do.
Faridah, you spent 5 minutes hitting all of the buttons. Anima just reaches over, hits 2.
Makes sense. It's the big red one on the side, isn't it? I didn't want to push it because it seemed obvious.
Yeah, and I think you are going to need some kind of supervisor approval to be able to vent it.
The moment Faridah hears that, she's just going to sprint to the other room and grab the supervisor and carry her like a football over to where the panel is.
Roll me a strength check?
Sure. Can we make it an athletics check? Which is still strength.
You are picking somebody up.
Yes.
You are going to pick her up and carry her like a football.
Yes, this is what the thing for athletics is. It's the same modifier, it just changes if I can use my racial ability or not.
Okay, I'll allow it. You might
There we
not
go.
need to, but I'll allow it.
Well, she is about the same size as Faridah, since she's Eldori.
That just slipped out, that was not released. I also don't like the number. 12?
I mean, it worked.
Okay, good enough. If anything, she's also saying, we need personnel approval, here come, and she's like guiding her by the hand and pulling her along, expressing why she is needed.
Okay, so you were not like physically picking her up, you were just grab and drag.
Yes. Faridah would use her mouth to communicate what is going on first, probably. That is actually what the people in the room probably hear is Faridah saying, we need the manager, but like you hear it like getting louder and louder. We need the manager, we need the manager. And then she gets into the room and then she's like, manager, come with us. And then she's like, come. And you just hear her saying that as she like fades away.
She staggers a bit after you. She's like, okay, what's going on? What are we trying to do? What's going on? I was trying to fix things.
We're trying to yeet the thing out of the airlock.
It's going to take some time to do that. Also, we're trying to get control of everything else. So that's probably a good call. And she stops in front of the thing. Wait, how did you find this panel?
The mysteries of stress. It's amazing what you can find if you have so much adrenaline running through your system. Anyways, shall we begin?
Rephrasing, she pauses and says, wait, how do you know how to navigate this? Have you worked for another one of our companies before?
Oh, I have no idea how to navigate this. That's all them.
Huh, okay. I'll ask about that later. And she goes about punching in some codes. This could take some time. Check to see how your friends are doing.
friends, and runs down the hallway.
So Vi hears like friends slowly getting louder.
Mm-hmm.
You also heard the manager. So, Vi, after you got the power stabilized in the room and have control over that, what'd you do after that?
I think Vi would definitely keep an eye on the power just to make sure that the hacker... Okay. Vi's not entirely fully convinced that this is a random thing. So she's gonna try to make sure that the hackers aren't either actually after something else, or if they are trying to cause trouble in some other way.
Okay, so I guess investigation?
Okay. I just rolled a nat 1.
Oh.
Ooh. That's a 2, so...
You weren't able to find much, but part of that could be just because there's still quite a bit of chaos going on everywhere else, and you can hear Spectra muttering under her breath as she's typing.
I'm gonna flick both heads and tails to Vae and Spectra and start doing the cantrip amplifiability, so you can add a d4 to any of the rolls that you're gonna do now.
Okay. Thank you.
She could roll above single digits today.
Does the d4 help?
Still single digits for Spectra. She's a little rusty.
Faridah is actually standing in the doorway, so keeping an eye on the manager and Anima, as well as Spectra and Vi.
Alright. The temperature is lowering. It should be about 30 seconds before it's down to a better, the recommended level. And then I've redirected more power to the biolab, so that should help with containment. Spectra, do you need help with anything on your end, or?
Well, hopefully they'll be giving up and getting bored soon, but they are being rather persistent. She has not looked up from the terminal, and there's just like stuff flashing across the screen, and she's wearing holes into the keyboard.
I'm guessing that you're trying to find out where they are, so they stop doing this.
That, and mostly I've been trying to do the equivalent of beating them back with a baseball bat. It's like a game of whack-a-mole.
Good enough. Whack-a-mole with a baseball bat. Seems excessive, but could work just fine.
Vi, if you're looking at her screen, roll perception.
Okay, that's better. That's much better. 21.
She isn't kidding about it being like playing a game of whack-a-mole. They keep breaking into systems, and she's like, no. She's responding pretty quickly, but she's like able to keep up with them. She hasn't been able to fully kick them out yet.
Okay.
But also, it is slowing down some. Roll lore.
Alright. Ooh, that's a 7.
Yeah. You haven't worked with a whole lot of hacker groups, at least not close enough to know how they work, but you know, sometimes like after a while if something not working, they'll just like give up and try something else, or like give up and go home.
Alright.
Spectra's trying to make it so they can't get into anything, and like all their attempts are just immediately shut down.
Okay.
Might wear them down. She's also going to mention trying to see if I can fry some of their computers. I think it's working with a couple of them, but it's been tricky. No, stop that. You saw the alert popped up in the life support, and she just immediately like shut that down. A couple other alerts show up in non-important rooms while she's throwing up like 6 or 7 firewalls in front of life support and then going to deal with everything else. No.
Okay.
How's the eject sequence going?
Anima, are you watching what she does?
Sure, yeah.
So she doesn't immediately hit the eject button. She goes into a smaller submenu and types in some commands, and you see it looks like something opens up behind just one of the pods. And she explains, let's just double check that this is actually going to kill them. she's venting the air in just that one to see what happens, and you notice it stops moving. Okay. So, might not kill them, but at least stops them. And she keeps tapping in. Save ejecting for later. Make sure they don't have oxygen.
I do have a really silly real science question. Do they start to effervesce whenever they're exposed to the vacuum of space? Like, to start to boil?
I don't know yet. At the moment, she's just, like, draining the oxygen out.
Yeah.
But I don't know what happens when it goes into space. I don't know.
I think if it has any dissolved gases in it, those gases will try to boil.
Yeah.
But wouldn't that just make them more energetic then?
Well, I mean, energetic for a moment until they get spread really thin, because they would probably bubble up into like a foam, and then I don't know how well it can move.
Yeah, so actually in that case, like as she's doing that, you can slowly see that they start bubbling, and next thing you know, it's filled with weird colored foam. Okay, I wasn't quite expecting that, but it doesn't look like they're trying to escape anymore, and that's the important part.
Yes.
And it's about this time that because like this whole time, like the lights have been flickering off and on, like the room would get like randomly warm, randomly cold, and it's around this time that all starts to stop happening. And by Faridah, you see Spectra starting to relax. She's like, wonderful. They're giving up and going home. If I could find out where they are. She keeps typing.
We should definitely go chase them down. I have a feeling they're probably more into their computers than they are into physical altercations.
That's true. There's just a lot of them in a lot of places. I'm trying to track the ones who specifically were going for things like the engines and life supports. They're more problematic. Most of the Tetrarch is just people trying to be annoying. But there are some who are rather problematic in very many ways.
They are 4chan.
I think I've got some of their general location. Definitely know some people near there that can take care of that.
We might be able to negotiate a higher price for the added value of the goods that we've delivered, along with solving one of their issues.
Spectre just nods approvingly. And that's when Doral comes up. Oh, yes, of course. Absolutely, this could have been significantly more problematic. I don't know what exactly I can offer for sure, but I'm sure we can get you the employee discount for some of your purchases and for future purchases and any ship upgrades you need. I noticed your ship is a little out of date.
No, now.
I appreciate that. Upgrades are always nice. It's been a while since I've been able to attend to it, but I'm afraid we have some other business to take care of before that, so perhaps another day.
We'll see. I also have an interest in some exotic materials you might have access to, so we can discuss some, we can negotiate later. We do have some problems to solve right now, though.
That we do. You mentioned something about paperwork to fill out. Should we fill that out while we're waiting for the rest of the lockdown to reverse? Oh yes, of course, sorry about that. Right this way. And she leads you off to a little room off of the docks. You see people there starting to relax. Picture like the hangars in Star Wars, except for like it's completely closed and you see some people working on getting that open. Lex is still, you assume, somewhere on the Opal Star. He just went on and never came back out again. And it takes you a couple of minutes to fill out the paperwork. She's a little more relaxed from the more professional approach. You know the deal, just wait until it's public knowledge. We'll update the terms of the agreement for your help today. And do you all sign?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Faridah's signature is big and flowery.
Of course it is.
I love that.
Of course it is.
What about Anima's signature?
You know, that's an interesting thing.
Wait, does Anima even... Actually, roll me wisdom
Yeah,
with advantage. Federation Anima definitely never signed anything.
yeah.
Could just be muscle memory.
Yeah.
Yeah,
could be.
because I was watching a show a while ago that even if you have amnesia, if you sign your name, sometimes if someone asks you to sign something, you'll sign your name automatically. 15.
So, yeah, you do have roll signature, and
Also, signatures don't always have to be legible.
true. I was debating have a thing happen, but I'm like, nah, that you would have had to get a nat 20 for that to happen. So, you sign Anima, and then you're like, I know I have a last name, but like, it's not quite coming. So you just kind of scribble something.
Good enough.
Don't worry, it'll come to you. And Spectra and Tali both signed their full name. And then, before too long, you are all able to get back on the Opal Star and leave. There is a brief stop at a refueling station that is rather well populated, but doesn't always keep track of docking numbers and stuff like that. It takes a minute because you're refueling a spaceship, but I think I is the only one that goes out to do that, because he is not on the list. And so that takes about like 15 or 20 minutes, and you don't want to do anything in particular just immediately after all of that?
I will express my interest in getting exotic materials, specifically a kind of metal that works as a channeling focus for Esper abilities to Spectra to explain why I had made that comment earlier in her presence.
Yeah.
I have interest in this. I'm going to be working on this kind of magic balanced suit, spacesuit, armor suit, battle suit thingamajig. I understand that this metal is not necessarily like the strongest thing. It's not going to look like Anima's armor, for example. But it should stop me from, popping like a bad tomato if we get into any major altercations. Very custom job.
This would be definitely very useful. If you need any help with that, let me know. Well, I can't do a lot right now.
Oh, absolutely. This is the kind of thing where we start setting up stuff. So, like, the negotiations for that little thing, if they can provide, maybe a bit of the metal necessary to do it, that would be really nice.
I'm sure that can be negotiated. Or at least something of that sort if we can't find another option for that.
Sounds good.
Vae, Anima, y'all wanna do anything in particular?
No.
Yeah. I would probably go find Spectra at some point. Spectra, I heard you and Doral mention the Tetrarch? What is that exactly?
Oh, yes, the Shadow Tetrarch. I think that's what they're still calling themselves. Every governmental body or system is going to have an underground that dislikes it. The Shadow Tetrarch, they're troublemakers. Some of them have a good cause, and they're blanking on it because there's not a lot in the book about it, which is annoying. But basically, it's kind of like underground hacker group, the black markets, it's more of this underground kind of stuff that Synfrith would have been attached to.
It's 4chan, but in sci-fi.
Kind of. Yeah.
Okay.
Some of them are hackers, some of them are like drug runners, gun runners. It's the criminal underbelly, whereas Spectra and Maria are more of the just not entirely legal, but it's fine underbelly. It's not even really the underbelly.
Okay, so probably not 4chan.
Okay, so they would be in the Shadow Net then. Okay. It would just be the darker part of the Shadow Net.
They're in the dark corners of the Shadow Net. You probably haven't come across a lot connected to that.
What the Alliance know?
It's probably a large part of the Shadow Net and the Federation side of the people that kind of just want to burn down the government. That didn't used to be as much of a thing. It used to just be more grumbling, but in the past 100 years or so, it's definitely become more, okay, just this is not acceptable what they're doing. Not all of them, but enough of them.
Spectra, did you happen to get any information about those hackers? I can help research into them, just see what they were up to, if they had any goals, anything like that.
Yes, I was able to find a couple of them. I sent the information to Maria. She's running down what she can. It might take some time to dig up information because the names that they were using are not their actual names, but give it time and we will... I was able to get locations as well, so I have some friends I was able to covertly point in that direction. So they should be taken care of soon, and we'll know if they're problematic or just a bunch of bored assholes that picked the wrong time to try and hack the station.
Okay.
Good news is Paragon Labs is going to greatly increase their security. Bad news is they lost one of their best engineers and security people. He's currently in engineering.
Oh, also that. I'm gonna go hang out with that guy. I don't have anything specifically to talk about, but Farida's probably gonna just hang out silently in engineering, working on Anima's suit.
Were you originally working on it in engineering, or I thought you were doing it in one of the workspaces?
I have no idea how many workspaces are available. I just assumed that it would be near that.
It's nearby, but when you try and get into engineering, the door is locked, and there is a sign on the door basically saying work in progress.
Okay. I'll just go over to another workshop then. She doesn't pry.
It's his first time in a couple of years being able to be in, like, the engineering room of the ship. He's might not come out for a bit. Alright, so if there's nothing else anyone wants to do, you all sail off, and Spectra is once again taking a well-traveled space lane that doesn't always keep track of docking numbers. She might be in conversation with another distant family member or associate about switching out the dock number just in case. She is going to basically a safe house where you all can lie low while you figure out what to do next.
Thank you for joining us, and stay tuned next time to find out what happens on board the Opal Star. If you don't want to wait, you can get early access to our episodes over at patreon.com/pseudonymsocial. If you like our show, please consider leaving us a review on your favorite podcasting app so people can know where to find us. We couldn't do this without your help. Aboard the Opal Star is a production of Pseudonym Social, changing reality one story at a time. It is DM'd and produced by me, Brianna Toiber.
I'm Casey, and I'm playing Anima the Ashen Forged.
Victor, and I'm playing Farida the Promethean.
My name's Alexis, and I am playing Mylena Sorrell, the Eldori.
With music by Patrick Chester of Chester Studios. To get more information on this or any of our other shows, check out our website at pseudonymsocial.wordpress.com.
We were actually, me and my friend here.
It points to a cat.
Oh, you're friends with a cat? Yes, he's one of those Dreamlands cats. So, he's more than a cat.
Yes, and he is very lucky to consider myself his friend.
What did he say? He said that I was lucky to consider myself his friend. Oh, okay. I do feel that way. Okay. I don't have too many friends.
You really aren't that bright, are you?
No.
Hey, it's me, Adam, the DM over at Microphones and Monsters. You just got done listening to a short clip from our show. Microphones and Monsters is a Cthulhu Mythos 5th edition actual play podcast. We ask you to join us every week, Monday and Friday. You can find us on your favorite podcatcher, Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. You can find all of our links at microphonesandmonsters.com.